Think about everything you were taught in history class. Usually, we hear about the Greeks, the Romans, and the Renaissance, but there is a massive gap when it comes to the incredible innovations coming out of African kingdoms. It is time we set the record straight because the level of sophistication we are talking about is honestly staggering. Let's start with mathematics. Long before the calculators in our pockets, ancient Africans were already mastering complex numerical systems. Have you ever heard of the Ishango bone found in the Democratic Republic of Congo? It dates back over 20,000 years. This isn't just a random artifact, it is one of the earliest mathematical tools ever discovered, featuring prime numbers and multiplication patterns that prove deep logical thinking existed way before what most textbooks suggest. Then there is the University of Sankore in Timbuktu. Back in the 12th century, while much of Europe was in the Middle Ages, this place was a global intellectual hub, housing hundreds of thousands of manuscripts covering everything from astronomy to law. It was a beacon of literacy and science where students from all over the world came to study. Now, let's talk about engineering, because the sheer scale of African construction is mind-blowing. Most people know about the Great Wall of China, but have you heard of the Great Wall of Benin? Located in modern-day Nigeria, it was a massive system of earthworks that stretched for over 16,000 kilometers. That is 4 times longer than the Great Wall of China and consumed a staggering amount of materials. It was a masterpiece of urban planning, with organized districts and even a form of street lighting. It is devastating to realize that much of this was destroyed during the colonial era, but the sheer scale of the ruins tells a story of a highly organized and wealthy society. Speaking of architecture, look at the rock-hewn churches of Lalibela in Ethiopia. These aren't buildings made by stacking stones. They were carved downward into solid volcanic rock. Imagine the mathematical precision required to carve out windows, doors, and drainage systems from a single piece of stone without making a single mistake. One wrong move and the whole structure would be ruined. It is an engineering feat that still puzzles modern architects today. But innovation wasn't just about big buildings. It was about the very materials that changed the world. For a long time, historians thought that high-quality steel was a European invention from the Industrial Revolution. But they were wrong. Nearly 2,000 years ago, the Haya people in what is now Tanzania were using sophisticated high-temperature furnaces to create carbon steel. They were preheating the air before it entered the furnace, a technique that wasn't even patented in Europe until the mid-19th century. This allowed them to produce tools and weapons that were stronger and more durable than almost anything else at the time. The level of chemical knowledge required for this is incredible, and it doesn't stop at metal. In the field of medicine, African practitioners were pioneers. In the late 1800s, British explorers in Uganda were shocked to witness a successful cesarean section performed by local surgeons. These surgeons weren't just winging it. They used botanical anesthesia to manage pain and herbal antiseptics to prevent infection. The mother and baby both survived and healed quickly, a result that was rarely achieved in European hospitals at that same time because they hadn't yet mastered the concept of sterilized environments. This wasn't some isolated miracle. It was part of a deep tradition of medical knowledge that included vaccinations for smallpox and complex bone-setting techniques. Even our understanding of the stars has roots here. The Dogon people of Mali had knowledge of the Sirius star system that seems impossible without modern telescopes. They knew about the existence of a small dense companion star called Sirius B, long before Western astronomers confirmed it. They even understood the orbital period of the star and the fact that the planets in our solar system revolve around the sun. This cosmic knowledge was passed down through generations, embedded in their culture and rituals. It makes you wonder how much more knowledge has been lost or ignored over the centuries. All of these examples show that Africa was never a continent on the sidelines of history. It was a center of invention, trade, and intellectual curiosity. From the massive stone walls of Great Zimbabwe to the gold-backed economies of the Mali Empire, these kingdoms were thriving and pushing the boundaries of what was humanly possible. The reason we don't learn this in school often comes down to the way history was written during the colonial period, where many of these achievements were either attributed to outsiders or completely erased. But the evidence is there, carved in stone, written in ancient manuscripts, and hidden in the soil. Sharing these stories isn't just about looking at the past. It is about reclaiming the truth and giving credit where it is long overdue. If you found this journey through history as fascinating as I did, there is so much more to explore. History is full of hidden gems if you know where to look. Thanks for watching. And if you want to keep diving into the untold stories of our world, make sure to follow and subscribe for more. See you in the next one.